Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with here today with an article from The Federalist. This is dated November 13th, and it is entitled, CNN Will Conduct Mass Firing as Rampant Lies Fuel Ratings Plummet. And at the time you hear this, you'll have a video up for me that is just clowning on the media again for MSNBC and CNN's ratings, and basically any left-wing media's ratings going way the hell down since the election. And all I have to say about this is, oh no! Anyway, kind of like the Jeremy Clarkson meme, says members of the propaganda press were shocked when Trump was elected, proving normal Americans do not pay attention to their lying. Yeah, they were basically the only people that were shocked about it, but let's go ahead and see what this says. It says propaganda outlet CNN is set to fire hundreds of staff members, including major personalities, following a major election loss where it did everything it could to make sure President-elect Donald Trump was not elected. The ratings challenged outlet will reportedly conduct layoffs that will impact hundreds of employees across the organization, according to Puck News, after trailing behind MSNBC, which also saw ratings tank. And where does this link to? That actually links to the Outkick article that I did my video on. So how about that? It says in Fox News on election night, so CNN already fired about 100 employees earlier this year. Get ready for a bloodbath. There's going to be more. Says the days of liberal journalists being paid millions and tens of millions to pontificate and schmooze with their permanent ruling class friends should be coming to an end, Curtis Hook, MRC Newsbusters managing editor, told The Federalist. CNN's parent company, Warner Media, has had a litany of struggles financially, so it's no surprise they'd look to CNN as a place to slim down. CNN CEO Mark Thompson, who came to the network last year after Chris Licht was pushed out, appears to be shifting gears from television production to focus on a new digital first landscape, Puck reported, and fire members of the television team whose talents won't necessarily be needed. That's like all of them, dude. The CNN's demise should not be a surprise to anyone, much less its own employees, who have been actively lying to the American people for years. While it is unclear who will be on the chopping block, excuse me, not cutting that out, this Thompson is also slated to cut the reported salaries retained by anchors like Anderson Cooper at $20 million, Aaron Burnett at $6 million, and Caitlin Collins at $3 million. Chris Wallace, meanwhile, announced he would leave CNN after 3 years of dismal ratings and pursue podcasting, a news format utilized by the Trump campaign to bypass the corporate media's deception. Says, according to a piece from The Ankler last month, I do not know what The Ankler is. It sounds like some weird kind of like horror movie. It says Thompson was planning to ask Wallace to take a pay cut and offered anchors Jake Tapper and Wolf Blitzer no raise. CNN will also slash redundancies and either cut or eliminate entire divisions, Puck said. And just get rid of the whole thing. If it weren't for the conservative CNN has among its ranks Scott Jennings, David Urban, Michael Singleton, and now Brad Todd, they would have to be laying off way more people than however many they're going to end up cutting loose because the web traffic and online conversation for the network, it would be a barren wasteland, Hook said. The Puck founding partner and senior correspondent Dylan Byers noted on Tuesday, roughly 4.5 million people watched cable news last night. 85% of them were 55 or older. 75% of them watched Fox News. Because even though MSNBC beat CNN, both outlets' viewership tanked. According to Mediaite, which obtained viewership data from Thursday, MSNBC saw a 23% decline and CNN saw a 40% decline for the day year over year. During primetime, MSNBC plummeted 54% compared to CNN's 30% decline year over year. And here's the MSNBC ratings collapse, and couldn't happen to a better group of idiots. So, who's the biggest one there? Joy Reid, of course it is. Most racist human being on television. Oh no, Stephanie Ruhle actually down 67%. But Joy Reid deserves it too. Stephanie Ruhle is just another moron. But yeah, it says, as the Federalist Ellie Purnell noted, is it L or Ellie? I'm going to say, okay, I'll go back and say L. L Purnell just sounds too rhymey, so let's go with Ellie Purnell noted. Sorry about that. So in the early hours of Wednesday morning, legacy news networks were already sliding towards 2016 levels of melting down about the increasingly definite prospect of a presidential victory by Donald J. Trump. For them, Harris's stinging defeat is personal because it's just as much a defeat for them as it is for her. Corporate media outlets are not failing because of some off-kilter business decisions. They are losing viewers because they have been systematically lying to the American people, and everyone knows it. Yes, and we've been saying this for years. As the CNN chief propagandist Brian Stelter put it, the potato, is quoting a radio reporter anonymously, it is hard not to see this election as just a national repudiation of what we do, adding, we spent 4 years reporting so aggressively on subjects like election denialism and the fallout from the January 6th attack, and many voters evidently didn't care. It's because they know what you stand for. But the left-wing media grunts actually spent 8 years reporting nonsense with reckless abandon, all because they thought they could overwhelm the airwaves with enough lies to convince Americans to agree with them. If half the country has decided that Trump is qualified to be president, that means they're not reading any of this media, and we've lost this audience completely, an anonymous media executive said prior to the election. A Trump victory means mainstream media is dead in its current form. Oh, thank God for that. This is one of the most egregious examples of CNN's flagrant dishonesty is the Russia collusion hoax, which plastered headlines for years even though it was thoroughly debunked. That did not stop the liars in the media from awarding themselves Pulitzer Prizes for their efforts to undermine the American government. As the Federalist editor-in-chief Molly Hemingway noted, CNN's Tapper, even now, still refuses to take responsibility for being a primary propagator of the hoax. And losing his job would just be kind of icing on the cake for that. It's like, sorry, man, but that's what you get. As in the days leading up to the election, left-wing media were trying to find every way to compare Trump and his supporters to Nazis, claiming his Madison Square Garden rally was just like a 1939 pro-Nazi rally at the same location. The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg published a fabrication about how Trump berated a Gold Star family and wished for generals like the ones funny mustache German guy had. As the Federalist Eddie Scarry wrote, the media tried to gaslight everyone into believing that they are really not feeling financial pressure from inflation, that crime is not increasing at widespread, and that migrants aren't destroying American communities by refusing to assimilate, among many other issues. And it just kind of ends, no real conclusion there, but all this stuff is right. What was this, like their October surprise about this, the rally in Madison Square Garden, even though they just conveniently forget all the times the Democrats have had rallies in the exact same building. Okay? And all this stuff too about just them trying to say, no. Like, your groceries don't cost more, even though you're spending, thousands of more dollars a year on groceries for the last 3 years. But anyway, so what do you think about this? Do you think CNN should be, essentially burned to the ground and ashed over like what the Romans did to Carthage? Or do you think it should continue in some form? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.